Obviously, there are so many different factors when it comes to success, but if there was one attribute, one thing I would say that is the most likely thing to be the key to success, or the one thing that's going to get you to where you want to go, it would have to be persistence. And there are people who will say, no, it's the people you know, it's the network you've built, it's the quality of your project or your work, or it's the amount of money you have, or it's your work ethic, or it's your patience, or maybe it's your attitude. No, in my experience, the one thing that has been the key indicator for success has been persistence. And you can look around and you can see this everywhere. Most people who are successful, who are at the top of their game, it's just because they've been doing it the longest, or they've been doing it the hardest, and they've just been persistent. They didn't give up along the way. Every time there was a reason to give up, they didn't, and they pushed forward and they became more and more successful. Now, that's not to say that if you look at somebody, if you're just persistent enough, you can become them. Everyone is an individual. I am myself. You can't be me. I can't be you. We all can't be Michael Jordan. But if we are persistent, we can be better. We can be different in our own way. We can all find success. If you start somewhere and you want to get somewhere else, it's a journey. It's a path. And there are roadblocks along the way. There are obstacles, things you have to avoid, things you have to overcome. And you will never get here unless you are persistent along the way. I think about it like someone who's learning to play an instrument, a guitar, for example. No one is born knowing how to play guitar. We all start at zero, essentially. No one has any idea how to do it. And a guitar could be put in your hand. You could sit there and you could kind of pluck the strings, but you're not really going to make any music until you go through the process of learning and someone teaches you. Maybe you teach yourself, maybe you watch YouTube videos, and that's how you learn. But there's a learning process, and you're going to get better and better and better, but you're never going to be the best unless you're persistent with it. If you give up at any point, or you kind of slow down, you stop, you give up, you're not going to get there. You have to keep trying every day, be persistent with it, never stop, keep going. And guess what? You'll get there. When you look at YouTube and you look at the biggest YouTubers, or the people who are successful on YouTube, I mean, most of the time it's people who have just been doing it for a really long time, and they've gotten better along the way, certainly. But a lot of people just start somewhere. Everyone starts at zero subscribers and 0 views, and you build from there. And if you keep doing it, keep working at it, you will get to some degree of success, and then another degree of success, and it keeps escalating, right? It keeps going from there. And you do it long enough, you do it, keep getting better and better, pushing yourself. So those are all the other factors, right? You got to have high quality, you got to do things better or different, or be entertaining, or all the different factors. But the one thing that everyone has in common is they're persistent. They didn't give up. And it's kind of common sense. You'll never get to where you want to go if you give up along the way. But it's so easy to give up. And that's why I think people have a hard time wrapping their minds around, is that you could get, let's go back to the YouTube example. You get to 100 subscribers. That is success, because you were started at 0 and now you're at 100. But most people look at it like, I've only got 100 relative to everyone else out there who've millions of subscribers. Like, I'll never get there. It's worthless. I'll just give up. It's been too hard. I give up. But let's say you kept going and you got to 500. That's also incredibly successful, because you were just at 100. Everyone wants to look at the top as like the judgment of success. Oh, well, I'm not at the top. But when you look at how far you've come from the beginning, that's a better indicator of your actual success and growth. And you know what? You just keep pushing. You just keep going, keep doing the same thing. Maybe you want to make short films, or maybe you want to do documentaries, or maybe you want to make commercials. Well, if you do one, it's going to be garbage. It's going to be bad. The first one you ever do, the first short film you make, the first feature film you make, pretty much everyone's first try at something is not as good as it ultimately could be. So if you give up after the first one, well, that's your best. That's it. The first and the worst is also the best. So keep going. Don't give up. Be persistent. Do the next thing. Figure out, learn from the mistakes, make it better, iterate on it. And I would almost guarantee, like, it's pretty hard for me to think of a common example of where someone did something one time and then they did it again, and the second time they did it, it was worse than the first. It was a total disaster. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There are people who are just not. If you're trying to do something that you're not good at, and you don't have the skill set or the capability of doing that thing, then yes, everyone's got to understand their own limitations. We're all wired a little bit different. We've all got strengths and weaknesses. We're all built a little bit different, so we all do different things, and that's great. That's why we have such diversity and amazing variety in life. That's why you can go see really awesome drama movies, but also really funny comedy movies. People are different and they make different kinds of content. So if you're trying to do something you're bad at, figure that out first and give up on that. Don't be persistent with something you're bad at. If you've spent the last 20 years, 10 years, I'm trying to think, 5 years. You spent the last 5 years trying to learn how to play guitar. You spent every day trying to learn how to play guitar, and you're just not as good as you want to be, or you're just like, you're still as good as you were at the very beginning, you know? Like you're really not making progress. You're just plateau. Then yeah, you got to kind of analyze that and figure it out and understand that that's probably not what you're good at. But I don't even think that's a thing, right? If you weren't actually trying to learn how to play guitar, like, okay, me, for example, I know how to play guitar. There's a guitar back there, but I'm not really that good at playing guitar because I gave up. If I had kept doing it and focused on playing guitar, I'd probably be a lot better. I'd probably be able to do some awesome riff for you right now, but I'm not going to do that because I'll embarrass myself because I gave up. I wasn't persistent with it. I was getting better, and then I was just like, you know what? This isn't for me. I don't want to do it. And I can't complain that I am not some famous musician or I'm not the best guitar player in the world because I gave up. I wasn't persistent with it. But you know what? If you're persistent with the things that you want to do, you're actually good at, you just keep getting better and you'll see success. That is the key to success, being persistent. And yes, sprinkling those other factors, quality is good, consistency is good, good attitude, patience, all the good things in life. You want to have those as well, but being persistent is, I think, what ultimately will get you where you want to go. Because, like I said, point A to point B, you're not going to get there unless you keep going along the journey. And oftentimes, point B, the where you want to go, is not really isn't usually actually where you want to go. You'll get to point B and be like, oh, that's it. I got to, I could play, playing guitar. I don't know how to play anything. I want to play a song. Once you learn how to play a song, well, that's like nothing. That's like starting over. It's like, okay, I know how to play a song. So what? I need to know how to play 10 songs. I need to know all the chords. I need to know how to play another instrument. Whatever it is, I need to learn how to sing. There are so many levels, that kind of staircase of success. Once you get to the step you're on, it looks like you're back at square one, like you're trying to walk up an escalator in reverse? Yeah. So the escalator, you can't, where you are at the moment, if you look down and you say, here's where I'm at, it's going to feel like you haven't really gone that far. But you got to look behind you and look where you want to go. And just know that persistence is what's going to take you from where you are currently to the next step and the next step and the next step. You keep growing, keep getting better, keep getting more and more successful. And they're really, you're never going to be somebody else. Someone else's success can be a motivation and inspiration for you to do your own thing, but do your own thing, be your own person, and find your own level of success, because that is what is most valuable. It's not just imitating someone else or trying to be somebody else. It's being the best version of yourself that you can be and being successful in that. So if there's one thing to take away from this, the one key, persistence. Don't give up. It's like such a cliche, right? Don't give up. But really, don't give up. If you want to do something and you think that you're skilled and you're qualified and you have the capacity to actually do the thing that you say you want to do, don't give up. Keep going. Be persistent, because you will find success. And it's so easy to judge that little jump in success as a failure compared to everyone else. But that is not what it's about. It's looking, where have you been? How far have you come? And then keep going and don't give up.